You all know that even though he won in the primaries, he lost to Gaelak in the last November elections. He was the battalion surgeon in the Iraq War. He, an Indian. He, Dr. Manan Trivedi. Let's catch his choice of words with me on Salaam, India. A very good Saturday morning to you. I'm Nilima Mehra reporting from not our studios but from the office, beautiful office of Mr. Frank Islam of FI Investment Group. Well, guess what? Today we have with me not Dr. Mehra but Dr. Manan Trivedi. He won't talk to us about, let's see, influenza, emphysema, flu shots, but we'll shed light about and on his political world. Welcome, Dr. Trivedi.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. It's only my honor. Tell us, how did you shift from the world of medicine to the world of politics?
Well, look, I think my experience in medicine drove me to politics, and I'd be happy to talk about emphysema or influenza too. You know, I think they go hand in hand. Look, I mean, I ran for office because I think we need that insight, that perspective of a physician. I also served in Iraq with the Marines as a battalion surgeon, and that's another perspective I wanted to bring to the table.
Now, where did you do medicine?
Yeah.
Where?
I went to medical school in Boston,
Okay.
and then I trained at UCLA, and then I practiced in Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., and in Reading, Pennsylvania, which is where I live. And
currently you're associated with Reading, the hospital there?
Correct. I'm on leave of absence because of the campaign, but I'm going back there.
Obviously. Yeah. You know, we Indian Americans are extremely proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Because you're brave, you're courageous, and you've taken a footstep into the history of United States of America. So you've got the nerves and the guts and the know-how.
Oh, thank you.
Tell us, Dr. Trivedi, your actual experience as the battalion surgeon in the Iraq War.
Yeah, so I was the head doctor, the battalion surgeon for an infantry battalion of Marines. After 9/11, you know, probably like so many other people, my life changed.
Okay.
My battalion deployed to Kuwait, and then we entered Iraq. We crossed the line March 20th, 2003.
Okay.
One of the very first units to cross the line and enter Iraq. Unfortunately, saw a lot of action. In fact, the first person to die in the entire conflict was a junior lieutenant from my battalion. His name was Shane Childers. And the day that Salaam statue was brought down, you remember that?
Yes.
April of 2000, we were actually there in the city on the other side trying to secure one of Saddam's palaces. In that mission alone, we sent about 100 men home with Purple Hearts in 1 hour and lost another gunnery sergeant. So that experience was obviously quite formative for me. And that's part of the reason I'm running. I want to make sure that perspective, that insight is heard in the halls of Congress.
Absolutely, you want your voice heard.
Yeah.
Now, personally speaking, from medicine to politics, how has the world of politics affected your life personally?
Right.
And I know you're married and I know you have a little baby.
Yeah.
How has it affected your family life and you personally?
Right. Well, no, look, it's been a great experience. I think it's critical for everyone to get involved in policy and politics because that's how our country will move forward. You know, if we have smart people, good people getting involved, that's how we move forward. And it's been a great experience for me. I unfortunately lost my race, but no regrets. We gave it our all.
We lose some, we win some.
Right, exactly. But you know, you move on, and I like to think that we changed some things and got some messages and some stories across to the people. And you know, my wife has been very supportive. We had our baby 3 weeks before the primary. I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend that to anybody who's running. But look, she was so supportive and has been a saint. And look, the birth of my daughter refocused my energies and really made me feel even more strongly about why it's critical for people, all people, to get involved. And so it was a great experience, and it's just beginning, in my opinion. I'm not giving up. Staying involved on the local level, on the national level, whatever it takes to continue to make sure we get better health care for everybody, that our military and veterans are taken care of, that we get more jobs and the economy moves forward with a jobs plan that actually brings the unemployment down. That's the kind of stuff that I think we need to focus on.
Yeah, I agree with you, absolutely. Now, speaking about your loss, I mean, I'll ask you a very blunt question.
Sure.
do you think that religion or race these issues had anything to do with your loss?
Right. I don't think they're anywhere close to sort of the top reason why I lost. The race thing did come up a little bit during the campaign, as you know, there were several Indian Americans who ran, and it came up in a lot of those races.
Yeah, listen, you're an Indian American, but you're brown.
Right, exactly. And my opponent's campaign did say that, Manan is playing the race card.
Yes.
Because he raises money from Indian Americans, which is a ridiculous statement. And to be honest, I think it worked against him. The people saw that, and many leaders of the Democratic Party came to my defense immediately. Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who's a Jewish American, said, "Look, I raise money from Jewish Americans. Is that me playing the race card?" Congressman Clyburn, who was the ranking leader in the House, came forth, and so in that respect, it did play a little bit role. You never know, but I honestly don't think that was anywhere close. No, the major reason, if you had to say, post game, why did I lose? It was a very, very tough year for a Democrat, especially. It's always tough to be a challenger going against an incumbent.
That's right.
No doubt.
Right.
But to do it in a year like 2010, it was very difficult. It was probably one of the worst years to run as a Democrat since World War II. 60 seats were lost by Democrats in the House of Representatives. We lost a few Senate seats as well, though we retained majority in the Senate. Pennsylvania alone, we lost 5 Democratic congressional seats, including seasoned incumbents like Paul Kanjorski and some newer incumbents like Kathy Dalkemper and Patrick Murphy. And these guys had a lot more money than their opponent, and so bad year.
and also, I being in the media claims that Gerlach is a very strong fundraiser. Now, in terms of money and fundraising, what do you have to say?
Sure. What's interesting about my race is typically the incumbent has a lot more money than the challenger, but we did very well fundraising.
Okay.
And so our personal fundraising, was sort of our candidate fundraising, was fairly even. He was a couple $100,000 more than me, but which is not that significant. Most of his money came from political action committees, corporate PACs and stuff like that.
Got it.
Most of my money came from individuals, which is sort of harder to do. But at the end of the day, he had outside groups throw in nearly $750,000 into his campaign.
Oh my God.
They bought commercials for him on TV, on the radio, and that we didn't have.
That brings to mind, because I attended a media conference recently, and they said that hey, Trivedi lost because he did not advertise or place his ad on television.
That's not
now,
true.
is it true?
No, we were on TV for 2 months.
Oh, okay, all right.
So early September, yeah.
Now, being a politician, what are your thoughts about Obama's stimulus package?
Yeah. Look, the problem with the stimulus package, first of all, it didn't focus enough on jobs, and we're seeing that right now.
Yes.
We needed to focus directly on job creation, and that was the #1 issue in my campaign. That's the number one thing I talked about. Secondly, with every policy, there's the formulation, and there's also the implementation. And in my opinion, the implementation of the stimulus was very poorly done. We don't even know where some of that money went. How it was not transparent. It clearly was not efficient, and that's where the rubber met the road there with the stimulus package. So, going forward, what I think we need to do is focus much more heavily on job creation. Small businesses, which many in the Indian American community, we own small businesses.
Right.
That's where I think we need to focus our energies on, making sure small businessmen have access to capital, people who want to grow, making sure that small businesses are incentivized, tax cuts for small businesses who want to expand. Any small business that wants to create jobs, we should make sure they can do that in a tax-friendly manner. But also we need to invest in infrastructure, re-education, retraining. These are the kind of things that I think would really spur job creation.
Yes, medicine, healthcare bill. Now, as a politician, and Obama just went to India.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, your outlook, your viewpoint on India-U.S. relations?
Right. I think, like the President said, India is a critical ally, a sort of a brotherhood of countries, two great democracies. India is the biggest democracy in the world, and obviously America is one of the oldest democracies, and we share so much in common in our belief in education and our work ethic and our strive for industry and economy, and India is showing its strength. It's flexing its muscles, and I think that's great. I'm proud to be an Indian American.
Of course,
And you know, my mother still goes back to Ahmedabad all the time, and I've seen so many amazing changes when I go and visit as well. And I think it's a perfect partnership that will help both India and America. And I'm very happy that President Obama went there,
well, he got a royal treatment.
Yeah,
so.
good. And I think it shows the strength of India, and it shows us the value that America places in India, and it's very exciting. I think for so many, especially of my parents' generation. You know, my dad came to the U.S. in the early '60s, and to think of how much has changed in India since then is unbelievable.
I know.
Really, and I think it's a testament to the rest of the world of what can happen when you focus on democracy and free markets and education, and then let people flourish.
Sure,
I think India can be a great model for so many other places like the Middle East or even China.
That's right.
And say, hey, look, this is how it can happen. This is how we can really make everybody better.
That's right. Now, I know we have to go, but just two very quick questions. What are your future plans, your future goals from here on out?
Right. Well, right now, just spending some time with my new daughter, Sonia, and changing a lot of diapers, like I said, but staying involved, staying active in
your head strong.
Right. Look, I think it's more important than ever for people to not give up, stay involved, don't get dismayed, even if you're a Democrat, to come back and fight, because it's more important than ever that we talk about what's important to us. And I'm staying involved in local politics, and not ruling out or ruling in another run, but one way or the other. Some of the issues that I'm passionate about is healthcare, but also military and veterans issues from my experience in Iraq, making sure that our veterans are taken care of in our active duty, and their active duty families are watched out for, and making sure that as Indian Americans, our community is represented in a variety of settings, not just in elected office, but in leadership positions in politics in general. Because I think it's critical for our community as we continue to evolve to have that voice in political leadership.
That's nice. Well, you're young, you're headstrong, you're passionate, you have the experience, the know-how, and we're proud of you. I mean, that's how I opened it. We're very proud of you.
Well, look, I want to say thank you to you and to the community in general for the support that I received during the campaign.
Absolutely. That was going to be my last and final goodbye statement to you before I close the camera. I'd like you to face the camera and any messages from your heart to the Indian American community, there it is.
But no, I would just want to say thank you. Like I said to you, thank you to all of you who supported me during my campaign. It was unquestioned and immediate, and I traveled around this country, and held fundraisers and talked about my experience, and so many of you were right there with me, and I'm so grateful. I always say the silver lining of this campaign, even though we lost, was the opportunity to get to know so many of you and the relationships I built, and I look forward to continuing those in whatever capacity I pursue going forward, and you too as well. And I would say to you that continue to stay involved with politics, however you can, even if it's fundraising or at the local level, with your committeemen and your local parties. Stay involved, stay active, because if we don't, then we won't continue to evolve as a community and push our message and have our voices heard. So thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Dr. Trivedi. It was my honor and my pleasure.
No, my pleasure.
And thank you being the voice of the Indian American community.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.